You saw an apartment complex that posted a list online for an apartment unit. You went through it, you saw the pictures of the apartment unit, you like what you saw. The apartment rent is within your rental budget, but there's one problem. The description says they need you to commit, put down some money so they can reserve the apartment unit for you. And you went ahead and did that. The next day, you come around to look up the apartment and the listing is gone. The person that posted it, you can't reach out to the person. There's no way to get your money back. Well, this seems to be the case of many a young working class adult who is trying to get an apartment for himself or herself. Today, there are rampant apartment scams online, especially if you're trying to get an apartment complex online. And these scam artists are really good at posing as apartment complexes, and they want to take your money. They want to take your financial information like your social security number. And today I'm going to be talking about ways to identify apartment scams online. So that way you are not going to be one of the victims that I just talked about, because there's so many of them. A lot of people have lost money through this way. Well, next time you go online on these platforms like Craigslist, Facebook listing, Trulia apartments.com or apartmentsearch.com or any other apartment search platform, and you come across a listing that is using pressure tactics to get you to commit, it's a big red flag, and I would advise you not to do that. And one of these pressure tactics could be telling you to get the apartment now because it's the last apartment remaining out of all the apartment units. Or they will tell you that, people are going after the apartment units like French fries, and if you don't commit right now, you're going to lose the apartment. Well, they can keep that for themselves. I do not want you going for apartments like that. Why? Because if you do that, chances are you're dealing with a scam artist. Because normal apartment leasing office, they don't do that. They don't pressure you to get the apartment. The reason being that they want you to make your own decisions, and they want the rental experience to be good for you. At least that's how they usually portray themselves, right? Until you sign the lease. Now, any apartment listing online that does this, using pressure tactics to try to get you, should be avoided at all costs. Now, the next is, in some apartment search platform, there are apartments that want you to commit. They want you to put down some money. They will tell you, hey, they're going to run some kind of background check on you, but it's going to come out of your pocket. Or they will tell you, hey, you got to put down a security deposit before you even see the apartment that you want to go for. That's also a very big red flag. The reason being that scam artists are really, really good at presenting themselves as leasing agents or people that are in charge of apartment complexes. And when they ask you for money and you give it to them, they are going to disappear with your money. This is especially if they are asking you for a huge amount of money, like, hey, the rent price is maybe 900 and they want you to put down the 900 before you even get to see the place. If once you do that, the money is going to be gone. There's no way you are going to get that money back. It's a scam. And normal apartment leasing offices always want you to come in. If you call them on the phone, they will call you and say, hey, come in here and see the place for yourself. If you like it, you can go back to the leasing office and we can talk about it and get you to sign the lease. But any apartment complex that is trying to have you to commit the rent, security deposit, or pay for certain amount of the background check they're going to run on you, is running a scam on you. And if one is asking for rent and you go ahead and pay that rent, you're going to lose that money. I always advise young working class adults that before you even do any of these things, go see the place. Go and see the place. Check it out. Make sure if it's something that is worth it. Make sure that the person trying to show you the place is actually the leasing office. They are in charge of the apartment unit. They are trying to rent to you. Because I've heard stories about people in the apartment complex trying to rent the apartment unit to unsuspected victims. And once you give them the money, they disappear. And when it's time for you to move in, apartment leasing offices come in and be like, hey, okay, this is not your place. We rented this place to somebody else. It has happened. Hence why I'm warning you about it. Also, when you go online and you're searching for an apartment complex and you come across an apartment that doesn't have a physical location, there's no physical location, they didn't leave the address on there, they don't have a way of contacting the person other than through an email that you can send through the platform. A very good example is Craigslist. Craigslist tend to do that a lot. Now, Craigslist themselves are not the people running the scam. It's actually scam artists coming on Craigslist to do that. They will post a very beautiful apartment unit just to entice you to click on it. And once you come in there, you're looking for the address, so you could go and tour the place and see what it's like, and you won't find it. And there's this back and forth messaging thing, and when you try to get the physical location or the address from the person behind the apartment listing, and they refuse to give it to you, it's a very big red flag. Excuse me. It's a big red flag, and I don't want you to rent the apartment with this person. The reason being that if you rent this apartment with this person, you're gonna get scammed, right? Because normal apartment businesses have physical location, and they encourage you to actually come to their physical location to see the apartment that you're about to, get. And if you like it, they will continue with the leasing process, right? Now, another thing is these apartments, some of them, they usually post them at, and this is the funny part, the rental price is way less than what other surrounding apartment complexes are charging. For instance, you may have like 5 apartment complexes on the same location, the same neighborhood, right? And for a 1-bedroom apartment, let's say they are charging $1,000, for instance, $1,000. And this apartment listing online is asking for $600 for the same square footage. That's a scam. Now, I will tell you how some of these scam artists do it. Now, it's a scam in the sense that they know that you're a young working class adult, right? And they know that you're trying to save money. And they know that perhaps you already know what the other apartments are charging for rent. Like everybody's charging 1,000. If they bring it down to 600, they are more likely to entice you because you're saving $400 monthly, right? And best believe that if you go through that route, they are either going to try to get your financial information from you, like your social security number, in the sense of, or in the name of, they're trying to run a background check on you, or they're going to try to get you to commit some kind of financial, any kind of money. They're trying to get you to commit some money. The money could be security deposit, in quotation, rent, or to reserve it for you, or even for background check. And once you do that, the money is going to be gone. So any apartments like that is a very big red flag for you, right? Now, sometimes I have noticed that low budget apartments, they tend to bring down the price to get you to come in, and then they will tell you what the real price is. For me personally, I will tell you, if you ever find an apartment like that, they post a listing, right? And instead of them to put the real rental price there, they put it significantly less than what it should be, just to get you to come in, and then they will tell you the real price. It's a waste of time. Don't go with them. Go find an honest leasing office that is renting a very good apartment where they will actually take care of you. And here's my logic for that. Any apartment complex that is willing to lie to you is willing to ruin your rental experience. Let me repeat that again. If there's an apartment complex that could lie to you, they could ruin your rental experience. What is their goal? Their goal is to get you to sign that lease. Why? Because they don't know that once you sign that lease, they have you. Because it's hard to get out of a lease without damaging your credit history. And they know that as a young working class adult, you don't want to damage your credit score. You don't want to damage your credit history. So they know that once you get in and you've already signed that lease, you're going to keep paying them that rent, even if the rental experience is horrible. Unless you're the kind of person that you don't care, you could just pack your things and go find somewhere else, and then they will penalize you by ruining your credit score or credit history. So that's why I say to always make sure that you're avoiding this kind of apartment, right? If they put their rent significantly less than what the surrounding apartment complexes are, and then you come in and you're expecting to get the rental price that they put on, and they're telling you, hey, no, we just did that to get into the office. Consider that a red flag and move on. Don't ever, sit down to hear them talk, because if they're willing to lie to you, they are willing to screw you up. Now, I told you a story some time ago, right? On one of the videos that I did, I think it was called Mistakes That Young Adults Make When They're Renting an Apartment. And I told you there was an apartment complex that I wanted to get, right? And as I was being given the tour, they opened the door, and from the corner of my eyes, I saw a dead roach chilling on the ground. I saw a dead roach chilling on the ground. And this person giving me the tour didn't know that I've already caught the dead roach. So the person kicked it under the sofa. So I was prompted to ask the question. I said, hey, do you all have pest issues here? And the person said, not that I know of. And that's when I know that if I rent an apartment with these people, if this guy could look me in the eyes and lie to me, he is lying about every other thing. He's lying about the maintenance time. He's lying about anything that is on that lease contract that I'm going to sign. Maybe not everything, but there are some things that are lies on there. And my rental experience in that particular apartment is going to be ruined. It's not going to be a good rental experience, right? Now, if that person had said, oh, that's a roach, I'm so sorry, and then they cleaned up the roach, and they said, oh, well, sometimes we have roach infestation, but we do take care of it, I would have been like, okay, well, this person, he's a very honest person, It's not his fault that the place is infested. I mean, some apartments have pest infestation, right? But since he's very honest with me and all that, and he also tells me that if I find a roach once I start renting, that they're going to take care of it, I'll be like, okay, well, I can trust them, I can rent with them, right? No, but this person looked me in the eye and lied to me. So the same concept is being used on apartment listing online that don't post the real rent prices there. Let's say you're trying to get a 2-bedroom, for instance. You know that the 2-bedroom in your city or in that particular side of the city is maybe $1,600 a month, right? And then you go up there and they put $700. And then you call them and they say, hey, come in. And then you come in and then they're telling you it's not $700, it's $1,600. We just wanted you to come in so we can talk. Get your ass up. I'm sorry, I'm cussing. Get up and leave. The reason why this upsets me so much is there are businesses out there that don't care for young working class adults. They want to use you. And as a young working class adult that you are, the last thing you want is, life is already throwing you shades, right? You're already dealing with life challenges and you're trying to find your own footing. And then an apartment is artificially manufacturing more stress for you. Come on, who wants that? You and I, we know we don't want that, right? I know that we have our lot in life and we're dealing with our fair share of life. But for someone else to cause additional stress because they were not, honest about an apartment before they rent that to us, I think it's very diabolical, and such should be avoided because it's a massive red flag that could end up creating you additional stress in life. Now, one thing that I want to mention too is like, sometimes when you go online on this apartment and then you're looking at them and this apartment, you have a bad feeling about this. You're like, this looks too good to be true. Trust your gut feeling. Trust it. Sometimes gut feelings are right. There is a reason why the creator created us to have bad feelings about some things. If you're looking at the apartment online and you're like, there's something that is not right about this place. Yes, there's a high chance there's something that is not right about this place. Let me tell you a story. I think about 7 years ago, back in my 20s, I was trying to get an apartment, right? And I went online and the apartment, very beautiful. I saw the swimming pool, the picture of the swimming pool online. Very remarkable. I was already dreaming about during summer, I'm going to be chilling in that swimming pool, flexing my abs and doing some sunbathe and all that things that a man does when he's not working to relieve stress. And I said to myself, this apartment looks so good and it looks so new and it doesn't match with the rent price around that region. I said, you know what, let me get the address. Let me go check this place and see what it's all about. Did you know that I looked up the address, took it, put it on my GPS, drove down there. I got the shock of my life. The pictures must have been from 30 years ago because that place looked like a civil war went through it. The paintings were rough. The trees that I saw in the pictures, there was no sign of tree. There wasn't even any sign of it. It used to be a tree here, but it got uprooted. So that means the pictures, they were doctored. They were photoshopped, right? And this is what I'm telling you about apartments doing whatever they can to fill up the apartment units. Some apartments don't care about the rentee's rental experience. They just want you to sign that lease because they know once you sign it, they already got you, right? So I'm looking at these pictures, right? And I'm looking at the place. And I was so disappointed because it looked nothing like the pictures. So that means that my gut feeling was correct about the place, hence why I went to go check it out. With you, this is what I want you to do. When you're looking at this place online, right, and then you see the pictures, because they're gonna Photoshop the picture and they're gonna make it very presentable to you, just bear in mind that that's not what you're gonna get. Hence, why I'm gonna talk about my next point. And what is my next point? My next point is always do a physical tour. Always go to the apartment complex. Always go into the apartment unit that you want to rent and see what it's like. It might not be exactly the same apartment unit, but something similar to it. Because sometimes the people are still living there and they haven't left yet, right? Tell them you want to see something similar to that place so you can get an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And on that video that I did, mistakes that young working class adults do, when they're trying to rent an apartment, I talked about how you could go in there, open the carpets on the edges. You're looking for insect droppings, any sign of pest infestation, right? You're looking at the walls. When you're looking at the walls, you're looking for watermark. What is watermark? It's a sign that when it rains, water seeps through the walls. My friend, I kid you not, these are things that are happening to young working class adults. And the apartments, when they show you the apartment, they won't tell you, hey, when it rains, water comes through the wall. They won't tell you that. Why? Because they want you to sign that lease. Because once you sign that lease, they have got you. So make sure you're looking at these things, right? Because if you're not, you're going to be scammed by this apartment. Because the way they present it may not eventually be what you're going to get, especially in these old apartments, right? So it's always a good idea to, I know you're going to see the pictures online. Come in and check for yourself to make sure that the pictures online and what you are seeing are exactly the same. Because if they're not, you are going to have a hard time throughout the lease period. Now, the last thing is, see that lease contract. Once you've gone in there and say you saw the place online, you contacted the person that listed it and they say, hey, come in for a physical tour. And then you came in, you did your due diligence on the physical tour, and then you liked what you saw. And they bring you back to the office and they say, hey, took your information, did their own side of the diligence, and it's time for you to sign the lease. And this is where I want to emphasize taking your time to read through the lease. Read every goddamn thing that is written on there. Why is this very important? When you're going to be leasing, I'm assuming you're going to be leasing for 12 months, right? That's 1 year. Sometimes some apartments let you do up to 18 months for a cheaper rent. But if you're leasing, the point is for you to read through the lease contract, right? Excuse me. What are you looking for? Unusual terms, things that don't make sense. For instance, the lease contract might be, hey, if you ever have a pest issue and the pest control person comes in, you are going to pay for it. It's going to come, it's going to be added to your base rent. It might be if there's a storm outside and the tree branch breaks off and breaks the window, and they come in and change the window and repair it for you, it's coming out of your pocket. These are the things that I want you to look out for. Also, I want you to be asking questions like, hey, are there any hidden fees? I talked about this one of the videos. I'm probably going to attach it to this. Are there any hidden fees that I don't know about? What are these hidden fees? Like sewage, trash collection. Is it free or is it not free? Some apartments might charge you up to $45 a month for trash collection. I kid you not. Some might even charge you all the way to $100, right? You're asking about water. Is water shared? Some apartments complex, they like to share water between people that are living on the same side of the apartment complex, or you just pay whatever it is that you use. You have to be asking these questions. Why? Because naturally, some apartment complexes, they won't bring that up. They won't tell you about it. So if you let yourself get scammed and it turns out to be what you do not expect it to be, the responsibility is going to fall on you. What does that mean for you? It's going to mean that your rental budget is going to be stretched, right? You're going to be paying more than you budgeted for. Hence, why I emphasize on going through the lease contract. Like if you're going through that lease contract, make sure it's what you are going to live with. Make sure it's what you can tolerate, right? Because remember, you always have a choice. That's not the only apartment unit in your city. Yeah, there may be other places too, right? And if you have questions, don't be shy to bring it up. Like take for instance, if you're looking through the lease contract and then it says that in case of an emergency, like your AC going off during summer, it's going to take them 24 hours to come fix it. That there is a red flag for me. Because I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm getting screwed. Because I know I live in Texas and I know it's hot as hell here, right? So if the AC goes out during summer, I cannot stay in my apartment for 10 minutes. The most I can stay, it's about 8 to 7 minutes before the whole thing gets very, very hot, because it gets really hot down here, right? So if I'm about to get an apartment and they're telling me it's going to take them 24 to 48 hours to come fix that, that's a fucking scam. And I'm not going to put up with that, right? I'm going to go for an apartment that is going to be like, hey, we consider that a life-threatening situation. We're going to come in and fix it immediately. We're going to fix it within the hour. We're going to send somebody there to start working on it. By the end of by a few hours, you should be moving back into your apartment. That's what I expect. So when you're reading this lease contract, make sure that the lease contract doesn't have unusual terms that are going to be used against you down the line, like later on, like a few months later. You finally find that there is a nest of bed bugs there, and you're talking to the apartment, hey, how do we take care of these bed bugs? And they will tell you, hey, if we send somebody out there, it's going to come out of your pocket. And you're like, hey, but that's your responsibility. Why am I taking care of it? And they're like, it's in the contract, boy. It's in the contract, girl. You did not read the contract? So that's why I'm saying to always read that contract, because you don't want to get screwed, right? So this is all that I need to talk to you about. Apartment scams are real, especially the ones that are online. Yeah, there are people out there that are not good people, and they are trying to take advantage of you. Why? Because you're a young working class adult and they think you're an idiot. But you and I know that you're very smart and you make smart decisions. So because of that, I want you to make smart decisions when you're trying to get an apartment complex. When you're trying to get an apartment unit by doing the things that I've mentioned here. If the apartment listing, is trying to get you to, rush and get it by using pressure tactics, it's a red flag. If you're looking at the rent and the rent is way cheaper than the rent surrounding the areas, it's a red flag. If they put a rent price up there, and then you go in and they're telling you, oh, the rent price that they put in there is to entice you to come in, that the rent price is actually higher than what they put in. It's a waste of time. They just wasted your time and they just lied to you. And if they're lying to you, they're lying to you about every other thing, right? If they're asking for money up front, any kind of money, whether it's security deposit, whether it's for financial check, like your credit background check, don't do that. It's a red flag. Why? Because you need to come in, see the place, and then you sit down and then talk. If it's a place that you like, and you like the lease contract as you're reading through it, then you could go ahead and sign. But if they're telling you gotta put all this money up front first, that's a big red flag, and you don't need that. Because if you do it, you're gonna get scammed and you're gonna have a terrible rental experience. And as the young working class adult that we are, right? We already have a lot on our plates because we are trying to figure out, how we could make our life financially stable and manage our lots without having additional stress placed on us, right? Well, when you get a bad apartment, you're gonna have a lot of stress on top of what you already have going on. And this is something you should make a priority to avoid. And that's all I've got to tell you today. I remain yours faithfully, Mr. Chime. Have a good week.